Hello everyone and welcome to Game 1 in a series between mTw, Rine, and aTn DarkForce here on Metalopolis. We have Rine spawning as the yellow Protoss player at the 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have DarkForce spawning here as the blue Zerg at the 3 o'clock position, and I'm not sure what version of the map this is. It may be the BattleNet version of the map because there are no supply depots on the low ground. We'll see after we start seeing the units scouting. We are going to have an Overlord now pushing across the map, and we'll quickly figure out that Rine has not spawned in the close air spawn positions on Metalopolis. This is Zerg versus Protoss, and I am looking forward to this matchup as we see a low ground pylon coming in from Rine. I'm interested to see whether if he's going to be going for a forge fast expansion or if he's going to be trying to just build some gateways down over here to try to naturally protect his expansion at some point in time. It looks like it is not possible to actually do a close spawn on this map based upon the timings and the locations and the scouting directions from both players, as the probe now going to simply walk up that ramp, see that there is not creep, and continue along his merry way. He's going to quickly come over here and see if there is a hatchery on the low ground. There is not going to be a hatchery, and this may spell a trouble for Rine, especially if Rine tries to go for a greedy Nexus first, which he may end up trying to do. You can see that he doesn't see the hatchery here. As soon as he sees the spawning pool and the extractor, he should be warping in a gateway as quickly as possible. But no, Rine now instead perhaps going to go for a Nexus first here on Metalopolis, and that is going to be a very, very difficult stance to try to defend. You can see the probe now making its way down already, perhaps going to mine some minerals and then try to set up a Nexus over here. The drone already making his way over, and now is the drone actually going to be able to stop this Nexus from coming in? No, unable to, and just a second too late as the probe now pulls away. Zerglings and Queens need to be queued up rather quickly. We are getting that Overlord up in the air in just a moment, and it will be speed boosted Lings. But because it is going to be speed boosted Lings, the Zerglings will get there faster, but there's not going to be nearly as many resources to use and work from. You can see the probe just hanging around down over here, and will he transition into roaches? That is going to be a key question, as we are now going into a forge as well. A pylon being warped in along the backside, making sure Zerglings are unable to run by, and another gateway now warping in as well. So Rine going for a very, very aggressive fast expansion, and we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to delay these Zerglings of DarkForce. The Rine now, the probe just wandering around back and forth, a drone simply able to pass through and actually delaying his own Zerglings for just a moment, as that probe was able to mineral path, and now going to come back around to see if a hatchery is currently being placed down. There is going to be 2 photon cannons absolutely in the right position. The photon cannons should be about 30 seconds to 35 seconds completed, and that will be absolutely critical and key. Those 4 Zerglings not going to be able to come over in time. You can see the probes coming off the mineral line to try to protect some of those other buildings there. One probe has been taken down, and now the Zerglings quickly going after this pylon here. However, the second photon cannon will finish warping in, and it looks like Rine, who went for a very, very aggressive expansion, will be able to get it up and running with little to no consequences. 23 probes coming in, 18 drones. The Zerglings now trying to test the waters on that front door. Know that they can't do very much, as the Cybernetics core now warping in as well. The key question will be whether a DarkForce goes into roaches. Roaches would be absolutely perfect, as the roaches and those Zerglings, those roaches are going to be able to start pecking away at the forge without taking any damage. They have a range of 4, and with that range of 4, they are actually able to fight and deal damage beyond the range of those photon cannons here. But another photon cannon coming in here as well, and now another pylon trying to make sure that there is not going to be a very weak energy matrix at all. A hatchery, now a double expansion coming in, DarkForce expanding over here onto the high ground as well at the what I'll call the 5 o'clock high ground expansion location, as the Zerglings now trying to look around to see if there are any proxy pylons in play. And DarkForce very, very confident at his map control, having 2 Zelnaga watchtowers, able to see if any units will be making their way out, as we are now going into triple assimilator warp-in. So the assimilators not coming in, the stalkers trying to fight back against those Zerglings, not able to get too much damage in there, as we are now seeing Rine just trying to get a strong economy going. He needs to train up as many probes as possible and continue pumping up those probes. We are also going into a Stargate, as both players just slow down their gameplay and try to relax. The power droning already coming in from DarkForce, so now catching up in terms of that drone count, 37 to 39, and with another hatchery quickly coming online, should be able to easily catch up and perhaps even surpass his opponent. The Roach Warren now being started, but the issue is whether the Stargate will be training up Void Rays or if they will be training up Phoenixes. Phoenixes are going to be able to get a lot of damage onto the Overlords and perhaps even get some damage onto the Queens, while the Void Rays are going to allow Rine to very easily defend against any sort of Roach pressure, as those Roaches move rather slowly off of creep, and especially without the Glial Reconstitution, and the Void Rays will be able to attack, move, dealing 25 damage a second, able to take down a Roach in a matter of in 6 game seconds rather quickly. The Void Ray, I believe, is being chrono boosted out. And where is that Void Ray? That Void Ray is over here, not being chrono boosted out. And the Overseer quickly comes in and sees everything it needs to see. The one Overseer already down to 49 hit points, now trying to back off. He wants to make sure if he can perhaps get a corruption onto that Stargate there. And now finally being chrono boosted, the Void Ray should be able to catch up to that Overseer rather easily. As the Void Ray on the move, the Overseer is still down over here. And we'll see what is going to be happening. The Void Ray now in the middle of the field, quickly going to take down one Zergling. You can see how fast that damage is dealt. Able to attack almost twice or 2 times a second, and cleaning up another Zergling in a matter of seconds there. You can see the Zergling still wandering around back and forth. Drones now being transferred off to that low ground side here, as DarkForce now sitting on 65 drones. We are getting double Void Rays though, and also going into Colossus. So going double tech path, as I believe we are going to be getting a Phoenix out in just a moment. The Observer, Overseer quickly getting shut down, but not before a corruption or contamination is in play. There is one Spore Crawler, enough to fend off that one Void Ray, which was trying to put in some pressure. And now we'll see if any additional Void Rays come in to join in on that battle. One Zergling here, a Nexus is being warped in here. A Pylon, in addition to a couple gateways, should be warping along here to prevent any run-in up that side of the ramp. Even some Photon Cannons being added to that wall. Void Ray activating or not activating the Zelnaga Watchtowers, as they are air units, but doing a good job making sure that the Hydralisk, Hydralisk now quickly coming in. The Hydralisk are going to be able to get a lot of damage onto those Void Rays. Void Rays deciding to back off, playing it very, very safe. The Void Ray is currently outranging those Hydralisks, but not for very much longer, as the Groove Spine research now coming in. Zerglings will try to run by, but be unable to do so, as a Photon Cannon just completing just in time. And now with Sentries and Zealots coming over there as well, and another Photon Cannon being added. 2 Void Rays and an Observer hiding off over here will be able to perhaps clean up some of those creep tumors, as the Roaches are now finally making their way out. Groove Spine's about to be completed, Glial Reconstitution and armor and weapons upgrade on the Roach Hydra army. We should be seeing some Colossi being added, extended thermal lance range, one Phoenix very dangerously low on hit points there, as the Hydralisk simply ignoring that unit there. Roaches and Zerglings are going to be coming in over here. Gateways upgrading up to warp gates already, as the Roach is now trying to push through. A lot of damage to be had. The Photon Cannons are in a bit of trouble. Colossus now coming in. In come those force field, as those Hydralisks and Roaches have really nowhere to go. Extended thermal lance range has not been completed, but the Sentries are completely trapping DarkForce's army. One Colossus has been taken down. Void Rays now going after unit, both sides battling it out, and the Sentries are now getting a lot of damage. One of those Void Rays dangerously low on hit points as well, but the Stalkers coming in to reinforce. Stalkers warping in down over here, as well as the Glial Reconstitution has been completed. The Stalkers do not have Blink, will not be able to catch up to those Roaches, and the Roaches can run all the way home. More Colossi being trained. Extended thermal lance range now about to be done. Level 1 weapons upgrade already completed. Level 1 armor upgrades for the Stalkers and the Colossus, as the army of Rine now sitting very comfortably, but the food count is so much in favor of DarkForce. Harvester count 81 versus 74. We have a lot of Roaches, but those Roaches are not going to be able to do all too much. But we are going into Ventral Sacks. Ventral Sacks, perhaps a Doom drop into this very, very open location here. The Robotics Bay, Stargate, robotics facility, all very, very vulnerable to attack. We do have one Phoenix on patrol in between the two locations here, as the Roaches are once again on the move. The Roaches do have burrows, so they will be able to regenerate rather quickly. As the main battle, Stalkers and Zerglings battling out over here. Those Roaches can be able to pick off those Stalkers rather easily. Two Stalkers gonna get taken down, as more Stalkers are now warping in. Roaches trying to engage, but two Sentry force fields able to finish off those units. Colossi able to walk through those force fields and perhaps try to re-engage. We are getting into Corruptors now, so the Corruptors are going to be going after those Colossus as the Stalkers are now coming in. The Twilight Council has been placed down, but I do not see Stalker Blink being researched at all, as another hatchery coming in by DarkForce. So DarkForce now running off, or will be running off, of 5 bases. The main location over here, dangerously low on hit points as well. The Spire about halfway completed. Infestation Pit now trying to get the pathogen glands as well. So we are going to be perhaps getting some fungal growth. Those Void Rays, though, are going to be able to get a lot of damage onto those Brood Lords. Void Rays, the perfect counter, able to attack, move against those Brood Lords. Brood Lords are dangerously low on hit points, as those Void Rays are not massive units. The Corruptors coming in. Down goes one Void Ray. Another Void Ray may get shot down there. Down it goes, all at the cost of one Corruptor. And that was a very, very nice trade there, especially as the Brood Lords should be morphing in just a moment. We do not have quite enough gas at this stage in the game, but the pathogen glands about to be completed. We are not getting any infestors, but we are also seeing a Nidus network. Roach is now battling it out. Zerglings now trying to swarm in over here as well. Corruptors just simply walking up the ramp and taking down the photon cannons. This high ground will quickly get destroyed. There is another photon cannon over here, and perhaps for some reinforcements, but this is not looking good at all. We are perhaps going to see a Nidus network come in just a moment. No, I do not see a Nidus network anywhere just quite yet. That Overlord has been shot down, and now the Roaches are trying to run away, but unable to do so, as the Stalkers able to blink and catch up to all of those fleeing Roaches. Army-wise, 5,050 versus 425. We do have Broodlords currently in production. A couple Broodlord cocoons there, 4 Broodlord cocoons to be exact. Broodlords are massive units, but the the Void Rays have already been taken down. Stalkers and Colossus Ball look to deal even more damage when they actually try to engage here. Drones now being transferred, perhaps to try to get even more gas. Yeah, it is going to be a pure gas expansion for a little while longer, as DarkForce currently running off of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or will be running off of 10 gas in just a moment. The Roaches now scampering about. Level 2 weapons upgrade, level 1 Zerg flyer attack, more Broodlord cocoons, and level 3 weapons upgrade. So this is a very highly upgraded army on both sides, as they are now going to try to engage. The Corruptors are going to have a little bit of a problem, as they are not able to deal damage to those Colossus without those Stalkers being able to fire back. The Broodlords are way out of position all the way across the map over here. The new ones, as the Broodlords are now coming over here. Roaches now trying to engage. The Stalkers now quickly going to be going after those Broodlords, as the Roaches engaging back and forth. In comes a Colossus from the back as well. The Corruptors going after the Colossus. Colossus are not engaging against the rest of those Broodlords, but many Broodlords are just getting focused down by Stalker after Stalker. There are 5 Broodlords in the air. A lot of Corruptors are getting taken down. A lot of Colossi getting taken down at the hands of Corruptors, as the Stalkers are trying to shoot down many of those Broodlords. The Broodlords, however, are just out of range, and beautifully done. The Broodlords are now trying to push in, and Rine says GG. So a really well done play here. Also, a Nidus network, a Nidus worm is down over here as well. I do not believe Rine, Rine has actually seen the Nidus network trying to come into position there. There was nothing in the worm at all, but as soon as those Roaches started funneling into the main base, that would have been a definite trouble. But the main situation and the main reason why DarkForce was able to get that much damage and actually able to take the win on Rine was the fact that he had his Broodlords hiding off in this dead space here. By hiding his Broodlords off in this dead space, the Stalkers were unable to get any damage. Secondly, the Colossi weren't really getting that much splash damage onto the Roaches. The Corruptors were engaging them. The Colossi were back over here, but it was not engaging against the majority of the Roaches on the ground, not maximizing that splash damage. And because of that, the Roaches were able to take down the Stalkers, soften them up through those Broodlords. Broodlords then finishing off the battle. Those Broodlings were upgraded, 1 attack and 1 armor as well. Also moving rather quickly, 3.84. Wow, that is a rather fast movement speed, able to swarm and take down their targets. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Rine and DarkForce here on Metalopolis. Stay tuned for Game 2.